Here we are with another Facebook Live, Friday Night Live, sorry. June 23rd, 2023. I'm a little lost in my time. Another beautiful day today, some rain, some warmth. Great, wonderful day. Hello, Michael, how you doing? We are into our season change now. If you're living it, loving it, you'll be into your dry fasting season change schedule, because that's what we do, right? We put all our energy into the dry fast cycles, and try and keep those best we can. As we know, everything happens within and after our dry fast. Even though we don't see it happening, the effects of the dry fast, they're ongoing for a while, depending how long you go. The emphasis on things happening in dry fasting is exponential. It's just as each day goes by, once you break that dry, lots of stuff is happening. How can we ever explain the infinite of the universe? It's vast. It's vast. You're not going to be able to figure it out with a microscope. Science will never figure it out because it works through our soul from the divine, and we just embrace it and allow the changes to take place, because that's all we need to do. We keep it simple here. We don't need to know who, what, where, when, why, how. It's not going to make any difference anyway if we knew it. Because it's all done in what we call autopilot, put the soul in autopilot, and takes care of itself. So that's what we love about embracing this lifestyle, watching everything happen in autopilot magically. It's just a beautiful thing to witness in ourselves and with other master fasters that we've seen over and over and over again over the years. Good stuff, good stuff. But season change is started on the 21st, which was Wednesday. The actual solstice was the 21st. Season change, we can start 2 weeks before until 2 weeks after that date, and we have all that time to choose when to do our dry fast and focus on embracing and strengthening our relationship with our Creator, because what else is there? When we go back home, are we going to be ready to face our soul? Because there's nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. We will be in the nakedness of the divine, and we have our memory of our life experience here to face and judge ourselves. There's nobody else to judge us, because we know what we did. But fasting and repentance and prayers, wonderful way for us to prepare for the next journey when we leave the physical of body. So yeah, interesting times we're in. Interesting times. We see so many trusting in mainstream medical system, science, and just it is what it is. We're not here to convince anybody anything else. We just follow our hearts with what we know, the new understanding. That when the saying is, the answers are in plain sight, and it's no more clear, especially the last 3 years, than it's ever been. Anything that has risks, side effects, stay away. It's got to be. There's no prudence in using stuff that has risks and side effects and risks. Like, come on. But since we know that mind control works and is very effective, and we see it happening on a day-to-day basis, every minute of the day, all around us, many people will be affected. And even though the answers are in plain sight, can't see, can't hear, can't feel, can't touch, so it doesn't exist in their reality until the reality hits them. And then people want to be saved, right? We see this over and over again. We've all been through it. Maybe some of us haven't gone through it yet, but it's a cycle that we as mankind have not learned from our past. And we need to repeat it over and over to drive it in home so that we can get an understanding for it, I guess. But it's very interesting how, we as mankind, we don't have any worry or fear about destroying our health, for years on end, decades. But when we jump on board to want to fix ourselves up from our past lifestyle, we have the fear when we start going through the healing reactions and the emotions start to flow. We have a lot of fear because maybe the unknown of leaving the physicality is nearby, which is a possibility when we have lived an imbalanced lifestyle. And it's going to come whether we live an imbalanced lifestyle or not. Those times are ahead for all of us. So let's embrace and put some joy in our lives and help one another as best we can. In this realm, we've been sharing our journeys, our personal journeys with each other, and so that can put a spark of light in other people to maybe want to take charge of their health, which would be a wise thing to do, in my opinion, because putting that trust in somebody else is it's not going to do anything for you. And they can't do anything for you anyway, just like we can't do anything for anybody else except be the example, I guess, and hopefully some people will catch on to the new understanding and make some positive changes in their lifestyle. And that's what we've seen. People who have evented Masterfast, a lot of eventers will, even though they leave it behind, they'll take something with them into their lifestyle, which will not be happy for a while. Go back to their old ways if they survive it. But it's interesting times, that's for sure. So embrace it, jump for joy when healing reactions come, use the tools to pull you through, and just keep repeating. And slowly but surely, we'll see the magic take place, the regeneration, and from the purging and through the art of subtraction, purging, and things start correcting themselves. It's just the way it happens. Simple, no rocket science needed. We don't need to know how it works. It just happens because fasting is the way to balance. It's in all forms: physical, mental, emotional. Hi, Michael. How you doing?
Pretty good, Gino. How are you?
Good, thank you.
Good, good.
So what's going
I'm
on in your?
fasting. Just fasting. I'm doing a fast. I'm gonna do a 3 day.
Awesome.
On a 3 day fast for the season change.
Excellent. Feels so good when we're in that fasting state. It feels so good, and living in the society, we're being bombarded left, right, and center, and it's very, very challenging, I find, for people to continue the lifestyle for whatever reason. You're just continuously being bombarded in every direction. So, being in a group where we can find some support, with each other for a lifestyle that we love to do and love to be in that state. It's a blessing to have people that are interested in something different than what the masses are doing. It's been a long journey for me in this, fasting states. Going to many events in a fasting state and so on and so forth. Very challenging times, but we pull through, and we always come out stronger. This is the beauty. We always come out stronger. The fasting by no means will weaken us. It's the lifestyle of eating that weakens us and brings us closer and closer to a state where the physicality will cease to be able to function. Just when we're moving in that direction, filling ourselves with obstructions over and over and over again, several times a day, and not putting any time and effort in a fasting lifestyle. If you're living a less obstructive diet, it's going to take longer, but it's all diets are obstructive. Is from our new understanding, they're all obstructive. Fruit being the least. So if you're fruitarian, you're going to have the least obstructiveness, than somebody else on other diets. There's a lot of fruitarians that just gorge, eating and eating and eating and eating. I don't know how they do that, but I can't do that even with fruit. Maybe if it was in my younger days of eating anything and everything in large amounts of food, maybe I could have done that, but not anymore. We're not to live in a fasting lifestyle and having our senses opened up to be more sensitive to everything. Food does not do it for us. It's satisfying up to a point, and then it's not satisfying because of the cause and effects from the foods, no matter what foods they are. Less obstructive, less cause and effects. It's simple stuff. Simple. So we like to keep things simple and embrace our season changes, because this is where everything happens, folks. Is we work towards these season changes. We work in to help the energies of the season changes help us go through these times of change and help us purge. And it really, really makes a big difference doing it with these energies instead of trying to fight these energies, which is a losing battle. What are you gonna fight against? The universe? Against the divine creator? Good luck. So we work with it because it's always a blessing to work with it, because it moves us in the direction of balance. So we do that. And we do our dailies, we do our weeklies, and we do our monthlies as best we can. And then when we come to our season changes, we focus on the season changes because that's where we want to really open up little by little over time, over the months and years. We want to be able to get into those, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 days or more as time goes on. We want to be comfortable doing these. Are we going to have challenges? Absolutely, going to have challenges. You're going to go through healing reactions. If you're eating, you're going to go through healing reactions. And if you're eating more obstructive, you're going to go through more healing reactions. So we need to embrace these times so we can purge out and help bring some balance back and keep moving in that direction as best we can, because what other directions are there besides balance? The opposite, imbalance. So we want to choose the direction of balance. Would be a wise choice, in my opinion. But free will, we can all choose anything we like. Nobody's forcing anybody to do anything. And
Hey, Gino,
yeah,
I had a, a quick question.
no problem.
I peed in a mason jar the other day, put it in the refrigerator. I think I seen it maybe later on that day. It might have been the next day. The bottom of it had a thin layer of pink. It was pink, like almost looked like Pepto-Bismol.
Yeah.
Was that like sulfur, or what was that?
It smells sulfur. You'll smell it. It smells like burnt match eggs. That's
Okay.
sulfur smell. So if you don't smell sulfur, it's not sulfur. But I don't know. I've had that pass, and others have had that pass. I've had a lot of that stuff pass. And when I go back in my memory, many years ago, decades ago, I remember taking Pepto-Bismol for diarrhea and stuff, because that's what they give you, right? You go take Pepto-Bismol, to coat your insides. Yeah. Is it that stuff? I don't know, because there was people who passed that stuff who never took or didn't even know what Pepto-Bismol was.
Yeah, I don't take that. I can't remember the last time I took Pepto-Bismol.
Yeah.
I really can't. I just thought maybe it was some other medicine that I took, maybe that I was purging out. I don't know.
Yeah.
But would that be considered filtering?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Any sediment is what we're looking for. Any kind of sediment, where it's mucousy, anything floating, anything heavy on the bottom, cloudiness. This is all beautiful kidneys opening up and starting to filter really well. This is what we want to see. This is, the dry fasting allows the kidneys to really squeeze out that heavy sediment, which is stuck in there, because some of these things that we've taken in, especially if we've taken any of the sulfate-based drugs, sulfate drugs, it's like super glue to the cells. It's like it's stuck in there, like not permanent, but it ain't coming out until we live a fasting lifestyle. There's no herbs or anything that I know of that will take that stuff out. It's fasting that's going to do it. And we've been witnessing to ourselves and others going through this fasting lifestyle of people releasing decades old drugs and or things they've eaten decades prior, because these things don't come out, like for example, putting anesthetic in the body, that stuff doesn't come out unless you fast it out. And this is people that are going through concussions and stuff, and then they take drugs and stuff, and all these things will come to the surface again. It happened to me. I had this crazy concussion a few years ago. It wasn't even a hard fall in martial arts class, and I had this kind of, the brain felt like the brain shook. It was a weird feeling and mild headache, and then the next day it was full-on concussion, and I had it for several days. So I dry fasted right away, and it was I think I did 6.5 days that time. And on the 6th day, that the last half day, it was brutal dizziness. Like it was like, whoa. And then I couldn't take it. So I broke that fast, and then bang, concussion passed. Whatever was causing it, it released it and never had an issue anymore. So it was a beautiful, blessing experience. But it could have been drugs I've taken in the past. I had wild, crazy lung detox many years ago. after being on raw foods for several years. That lasted over 30 days, and like 4 or 5 weeks, just coughing like crazy at night. During the day I would be fine, but at night I wake up at like 2 in the morning. I can't remember the exact time, and I would just be coughing like for sometimes 2 hours straight. And I had a roommate at the time. He thought I was dying. He'd come in, "Hey, are you okay?" Yeah, don't worry. I had to put a bucket beside my bed because I was releasing so much crap. It was insanity. Like I'm going, so I had bronchitis at 15 years old, and at 17, they were both times suppressed with drugs, and those are all sulfate-based drugs. So I have no doubt this stuff was being released from that time, because it was a very painful lung detox. And after that, my lungs felt so much better. It took many months, because the lungs took a beating of all that coughing for all those weeks. Took many months after that of the body to heal that up. But it was a great feeling after that. And there's all kinds of stuff that happens when we're fasting that we'll experience from our past, from our lives, and or could be from our parents, our grandparents. Things pass through emotionally and physically, from our mother carrying us, if they've taken some meds, when we were pregnant, and so on and so forth. We're going to have that lodged within our physicality as well. So we need to work it all out, and fasting is the way that I know, without a doubt, that will remove all this stuff. All kinds of claims out there, people taking vitamins, minerals, and herbs that'll do all this stuff. Without fasting, I don't see it happening. I don't see it happening at all in that sense. It could do it to some degree, but until you fasting will squeeze out every single cell. It's the dry fasting in particular is what we're talking about, because that's what Master Fast is focused on, is the dry fasting. The liquid is just to wash away what we do from the dries. So all the focus is on the dries, and we're squeezing and washing, squeezing and washing over and over and over and over again to help purge out all these things we've done through our lifestyle and or our ancestors, parents, etc. But fasting will do it. I see so many claims of what people are putting out there with vitamins and minerals and drugs for detoxing. They're talking about meds. Wow, okay, sure. This is what we're trying to get rid of. And people are putting isolates to try and detox. Isolates, whether they're vitamins, minerals, or the other stuff, meds, they're isolates. The body doesn't recognize this stuff. In emergency situations, we can use isolates, for example, vitamins and minerals versus meds. I would rather move into that for emergencies than meds, just to get us through an emergency situation. And then, of course, we're going to have to detox it out later, because the body doesn't recognize this stuff. It's forced to use whatever we ingest. It's forced. It has no choice, because we're ingesting it, so it's going to have to do something with it. But we're going to have to detox that stuff out. If we're living a fasting lifestyle, then we will know, and we will experience what it's like when we start detoxing this stuff. We're going to have stuff like, this pink stuff that could be whatever meds. We don't know exactly what it is, unless send it to a lab or whatever. I don't know. I really don't know. Could it be some dead blood cells and stuff? Could be anything. But yeah, I've passed a lot of that. And other people have passed that stuff that they've shared while master fasting. So Pepto-Bismol, I don't think so. Sulfur, I don't remember smelling sulfur from that stuff. But could be some sulfur. I don't know what, if the sulfur have a color in the eyes. We see it as like an orangey substance and stuff. Brownish orangey substance. That's what we've been told. Do we really know that sulfur? If you smell it, sulfur, you know what sulfur smells like, right? Gary, for sure. I've smelled sulfur coming out of the bowels and I've smelled sulfur coming out of the urine different times, with all these years of detoxing. So you will smell sulfur. It's a strong smell. But how many other zillion chemicals are sprayed upon us on a daily basis in the air and the waters and the streams and the food supply? It's everywhere, corporations making foods. Look at any corporate prepared foods, got chemicals in them. All of them. This is like a mission to destroy mankind, you know what I mean? And as long as people buy this stuff, corporations will continue to make it, right? If nobody bought it, they wouldn't be able to survive. But they survive and they thrive for decades because people buy the stuff. Just like the pharma cartel. People consume all that stuff and they survive and thrive. And actually, they thrive like no other companies, corporations. So, what do we do in this type of society? Well, we do the best we can in the situation we're in. That's all we can do, because most people are on the take, for supporting, sustaining evil agendas. People will sell out their mothers. We've seen it like no other in the last 3 years. This is the reality of where we're at. And we can put our heads in the sand and say, I don't see anything, I don't hear anything. Everything's beautiful. But our ass is wide open in the air. So I like to be a realist. I want to know what's going on, and I want to be prepared and be able to support things that I agree with, and not support things that I don't agree with as best we possibly can. Sometimes very difficult because it's everywhere. If you look at how many corporations, there's 2-3 corporations that pretty much own every other corporations. Like, wow, okay. And so what do we do here? Well, you support small family businesses and stuff like that as best you can, local farmers, and that's all we can do. And if we don't have anything like that around us, well, we do the best we can in the situation we're in. And the fasting lifestyle is our best arsenal to purge out all this stuff, because if we don't have a vent to purge on a regular basis, we're accumulating on a regular basis, and that's the challenge. That's why we see more sicknesses and diseases than ever before in our history. It's getting worse and worse. People are dropping like flies from what happened the last 3 years, like never before. You can close our eyes and say it's not happening. I don't believe it, but it's happening. So, what's the best arsenal? Best arsenal we know is master fasting, because it's such a potent purging lifestyle, and that's what we need, especially in today's day and age. And is it going to be easy? Absolutely not. But the lifestyle is simple. But we're going to have to come to the terms that healing reactions are going to be part of our life when we choose this lifestyle, and we need to know what to do in these situations. We have all the tools to pull us through as best we possibly can. So use the tools. That's very important. Healing reactions, enemas, and breath work. Always, it's your fallback, without question, right away. Enemas, breath work, and the wonderful, highly elevated herbs, and so on and so forth. And then we can use all of the other things that we have, essential oils, which are herbs as well. If we need to go to a chiropractor to make an adjustment because our SI joints out or ribs out or something, that can just help us to be more comfortable instead of being in severe pain. We can be more comfortable. Acupuncture works for some people. We can ozone stuff, Reiki. There's many things we can do to assist. But people rely on these as the only go-to means to fix their problems as treatments. And you're only going to go so far with that. I've myself personally been through many of these things, and you're only going to go so far. You're going to plateau on all these things, and in an eating lifestyle, it doesn't move you necessarily in the direction of balance. Fasting is specifically moving us in that direction. Target straight on, always. It's a default. Eating lifestyle doesn't matter what diet. We can have diets that are closer to the balance, and then we have the diets that are further away from balance, which are more imbalanced lifestyle. So we have to decide ourselves which lifestyle, how obstructed do we want to be, because most people are not going to be fruitarians. It's just not going to happen. Myself, I'm not a fruitarian, but that's a big part of my staple of my diet. Big part, big portion. I cannot go. If I go one day, like when I'm eating, without eating something of fruit, I'm going, man, oh man, it's, you know what I mean? I feel it, because fruit is the least obstructive. And when you've opened up your senses, you're going to feel things. And that's what we want. We want to feel. We don't want to be in a numbed out state. No, absolutely not. I don't want to be in a numbed out state. You have to decide if you want to be in a numb state or not numbed out state. But from what we know, our senses are there because they need to feel things. They're warning signals. And the more sensitive we become is because the things that are toxic and poison out there are rampant all around us. And we learn to be careful because our senses are warning us. Senses are warning us. Okay, you ate something, the next morning, whoa, I think I may want to stay away from that. Right? Buying organic, is it going to help you? 50% of the time, because 50% of the organic industry is fraudulent. That's the facts. So what do? Well, we have ozone generators, right? We can ozonate all our food that we eat. It's going to make a difference. It's going to help. We're ozonating our juice these days, right? Because I don't worry about buying organic juice myself. Some people, you got to be organic in glass bottles. We haven't seen any difference from people going that route with people buying non-organic juices in the benefits of purging and regeneration. We haven't seen any difference from organic or not. So, if we can ingest less chemicals and stuff, all the better, right? All the better, because in a fasting state, when you're purging, from our understanding, the body does not hold on to things. But if we don't have to ingest them, all the better. So we've been suggesting everybody should have an ozone generator so they can ozonate all their foods, whether organic or not. Ozonate all your foods. The skies are being bombarded left, right, and center. Nothing is organic on the planet, if you really want to look at it. Yeah, there's farmers who actually grow things what they call organically, but it's not, because it's being rained on, right, from the skies. So we want to clean all that stuff up as best we can, and I don't know anything better than ozone for doing that. Such a simple little wonderful tool that we can all have. Cleans the air, cleans the food, and there's many other uses that you can use it for. So embrace the lifestyle. You've got lots of tools, lots of information that you can utilize if you choose. If you are new to this information, highly recommend, start reading everything, start watching some of the old videos of all the testimonials and stuff. But go through the protocol over and over so you get a real understanding of what we're doing, and then start implementing that and start getting that understanding through the experience. That's where you're going to gain it. Through reading and watching videos, we're going to get information, and it's going to help us tremendously, but we don't get the full understand until we start going through it. Healing reactions, people, what's a healing reaction? Others will call them healing crisis. There's no healing crisis in a fasting lifestyle. It's healing reactions. Crises come through isolates, pharmaceuticals and stuff like that. That's where crises come. Healing reactions are a natural phenomena. The body is trying to purge something that's foreign and it's having challenges. So we assist it to help move that stuff out, and it's emotional, physical, mental. So we want to help the body as best we possibly can to purge this stuff out. And once it passes out, whoa, feel like $1 million. It's like, wow. It's like, wow, from 1 minute to the next, it's like a completely different state. And it can go also the opposite state. You feel amazing and feel like dying the next minute when you're in a fasting state, especially dry fasting. Things happen quickly and really fast in a dry fasting state. Also in a liquid state, right? Things can and will happen very quickly. So we got to be ready for all these times. People start fasting, they start getting dizzy. Right here, just put your finger and press hard and don't let it go. And just, if you're near a chair, sit down or crouch down so you don't fall over. If you, black out, because that happens, and it's happened. People blacking out, smashing their heads. You don't want to be doing that. You want to be aware when you're in a fasting state. If you're horizon, getting off chairs, getting out of your bed, take your time, make sure all the horizon's correct before you move out on, because you don't want to be smashing your head and then doing more damage. So dizziness is very common. Is it normal in a fasting state? It's common because it's not normal. It's common because we live obstructive lifestyles and we take meds and so on and so forth, and we ingest infinite amount of isolates and chemicals and so on and so forth. So it's common. It's not because we are starving. We're dizzy. This is how most people interpret it. Oh, I didn't eat, I'm getting dizzy. Nothing to do with that. It's because the body is trying to move out obstructions. And how do I know that? Well, because I've experienced going through that, almost passing out, doing enemas, bang, and I'm running the next minute. So where's the starving come from? I didn't feed myself, I just helped purge. And that's the way I interpret it. It's common sense, logic. And when you've done this over and over and over again so many times, and other people have gone through it and experienced the same thing, what else are we going to, how else are we going to interpret it? Through science? Science is going to tell, through the microscope. No, that's not what happened. This is what happened. So you're going to believe the science. Okay, believe in the science. I don't believe in the science. I believe in what happened with my experience and using my common sense and logic that the divine creator gave us. I don't need science. I don't need the microscope. I don't need the telescope. I don't need any of that stuff. I don't need the white jackets telling us anything. Our science is our kitchens, our bathrooms. Right? That's our science labs. What we experience through our eating lifestyle and through our purging lifestyle. These are our science labs. We don't need anybody else to tell us anything. We can listen to it and with a grain of salt, because everything has some truth. The massive deception will always work around the truth to deceive us, right? That's the way it is. So we just want to pay attention to see if there's any truths in there. And we're limited to that knowing because there's an infinite universe that's interacting with us and with ourselves and with everybody else and with nature. That it's, how do we know? How are we going to know all that interaction? Pharmacists who are the experts on meds, they know that they have no idea how any one particular drug is going to react in any given individual person. They don't know how it's going to react because everybody's chemistry is different. There's no two chemistries alike on this whole planet. So every time they put that in, there's going to be a different reaction. And that's why you see all these side effects listed and so on and so forth from their trials and so on. So can you imagine when they start multiplying, adding not 1, 2, or 3, or 4, or 5 different meds? They have no clue what's going to happen. It's rolling the dice, Russian roulette is what I call it. Side effects and risks. It's lunacy. If you want to play that game and you think that's going to help you, that's your free will choice to go down that route. We like to choose the divine, simple way and trust in that system that's built within each and every one of us to help us go back to balance, which is a fasting lifestyle. And that is why we're here, and that's what we're sharing. So if that's not what your belief is, there's no reason for you to be here, right? And we've seen a lot of people come and go, all kinds. And there's a few handful of people that have really embraced this lifestyle and are just thriving just beautifully because they connected with, the information that can only come from our Creator to tap into this basic, simple knowledge. It's not rocket science, very basic. Stop eating, stop doing everything. Just help the body purge. That's all we do. Help it purge. And voila, watch what happens. Beautiful things. We've seen incredible things from people, just magical. It's just like, wow. That's why we say everything's possible. And just because it hasn't been done, be the first. Don't worry about it. When Gabrielis came, was paralyzed, and I go, yeah, everything's possible. Go for it. Because he, wasn't able to get anything happening through fruits and herbs. So once he started master fasting, things changed. And he got his nerve healing back and started walking much better. And he's living and loving it, and so many others are doing it. This paralysis is incurable, right? Yeah, okay, well, according to them, if you do what they do, yeah, of course. But if you trust in the divine Creator, you have a whole universe of access of information to access. So you're not limiting yourself to the theories of the white jackets. So which choice do you want to live? Limited to the theories of the white jackets or the limitless divine Creator? The artificial indulgence. They're telling you straight out in plain sight, it's artificial. It's no intelligence. Caca. Buy into that stuff, you fall into that trap. Oh man, they make, they can do all these calculations, everything in seconds. So what? It's garbage in, garbage out. It's only whatever has been programmed in. There's not one speck of any other information that can be taken out of that artificial intelligence. It's only what mankind has put in. So don't fall into that trap. If you already have, work your way out of it, because it's a big trap. And it's here, and it's coming full force. And how we're being censored left, right, and center, right? By that system right now. They go through all videos, all posts, automatically delete stuff. It's happened. It's here. And it's interesting times, folks. Interesting times. We need to move in the direction of the divine, peace, balance, correct conduct in full force now more than ever. I don't know what else it's going to take, because the last 3 years has shown us we moved in complete opposite direction. So it's like, wow, I didn't see this one coming. We had knowledge that this is what they're working on and everything, but I would have never believed that mankind would have bowed down that easily to this evil. It's just, how many people sold out their mothers, to support that agenda just for a paycheck? How many, people got their lives ended, especially in old age homes and stuff. And the stuff we've seen is horrific. But we have to keep our faith and help one another, because there's a lot more coming. A lot more coming. And be ready. Still good time to keep stock of things, if you don't have any foods and juices and stuff, and in case things shut down, because we're continuously being bombarded. So it's always wise to do that, even in times before. It would be good to be prepared. I remember, was it about more than about maybe 15 years ago, when the power went out in the whole Southern Ontario and New York, and it went out for days. We had no power. Lucky it was summer. No power whatsoever. It was a beautiful summer days. So we were okay. Everything was shut down. Couldn't go get fuel or anything because no electricity. So you couldn't go anywhere. So if you didn't have any food, you'd have to walk to the stores if they were open, and if they took cash. Because if you imagine the digital world, you won't be able to do anything at all. Zero. You won't be able to function if there's no cash. Start using cash, folks. Start using cash, start using plants, start learning about plants. If you haven't already, learn about your local plants or herbs. And because if it does all get taken down, at least you have something to fall back on. So interesting times. Living it, loving it, building up our field strength is best arsenal I know of. Being taken out in a healthy, happy state is much better than being in pain, misery, and suffering, where you don't know what hit you. So embrace, embrace, embrace. If that's it, we'll call it a night. If nobody else has any questions, thank you for joining us. It's always a blast. Continue living it, loving it. Season change is still upon us. If you haven't started, now's a great time. Now is always a great time. And embrace it. Embrace it, make it happen. Use the tools. Live it, love it. Ciao. Let's keep sending PLAF to the planet and everybody else more than ever. And we'll see you on the next call, and see you on the page. Ciao. Good night, Michael.